Have you ever stopped to think why, even when you take care of your health and maintain good hygiene, something seems to give away your age? It's as if, despite daily showers and all your efforts, some parts of your body insist on sending silent and not-so-subtle signals that something is not right. Sometimes it's a persistent smell, a neglected appearance, small details that end up revealing more than you'd like. Now, what if I told you that this has nothing to do with aging itself? That maybe the problem lies in areas you simply haven't paid enough attention to, and that taking care of them can be much simpler than it seems. Today, I want to open your eyes to something no one talks about, but that can completely transform your relationship with your body. I'm Dr. Lauren Hart, and I'm here to speak with you with all the honesty you deserve. You see, after years of studying the human body, aging, and well-being, I've learned one thing. Taking care of ourselves goes far beyond aesthetics. It's about respect, dignity, and the genuine desire to live well and with autonomy for as long as possible. The 5 areas we'll explore today are not just hygiene details. They are key points, gateways for infections, circulatory problems, and inflammation that over time deteriorate health and accelerate aging. The worst part is that almost no one talks about this. Doctors tend to assume that patients already know, so they avoid bringing up the topic. And meanwhile, these small oversights accumulate and turn into serious problems. But before we delve into these 5 essential areas, I need to ask you for something simple. If you take your well-being seriously, if you truly want to age healthily and independently, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This conversation goes far beyond hygiene. It's about regaining control of your body and your life. Starting with the basics, let's now talk about the first area. 1. Your feet. The foundation of your freedom. Yes, your feet. It seems obvious, but they are one of the most forgotten areas in self-care, and also one of the most important. Have you noticed that walking has become more difficult, that your steps aren't as firm, or that putting on shoes has become tedious and uncomfortable? Many people blame age, but in reality, many of these problems could be avoided or alleviated with a simple routine of care. Your feet are literally the foundation of your independence. When they start to fail, the rest of your body feels it. However, many people only pay attention when pain appears, and by then, it's a sign that something has been neglected for too long. From a health perspective, poor foot care is a breeding ground for fungi, bacteria, circulatory problems, and even more serious infections. And it's no exaggeration. Studies show that older adults who neglect foot care have a much higher risk of falls, loss of mobility, and even developing more serious diseases. Things like accumulated dead skin, moisture between the toes, and poorly trimmed nails, although they seem insignificant, create a perfect environment for the entry of pathogens. And once in the bloodstream, they can cause infections that are difficult to treat. In other words, caring for your feet isn't just a matter of comfort, it's a matter of health and safety. When the skin on your feet starts to crack or form thick calluses, the discomfort goes far beyond aesthetics. These changes restrict blood circulation and, combined with fungal infections that often go unnoticed, can even affect other areas of the body. But there's something almost no one talks about. Foot care isn't just about preventing problems. It's mainly about maintaining a connection with the world around you. Yes, because well-cared-for feet keep the nerves active. This is what helps you maintain your balance, step firmly, and continue walking independently. So, when washing them, be careful between the toes, over the nails, and around the heels. All these little corners deserve attention. This contact stimulates circulation and maintains the essential sensitivity to prevent stumbling and falling. And remember, technique makes a difference. Use warm water, never hot. Use a mild soap that cleans without harming. And above all, dry thoroughly between your toes. Moisture in this area favors the appearance of fungi. Therefore, a light moisturizing cream can help keep the skin soft, but avoid applying it between the toes, as excess cream in these areas can also cause problems. I remember a patient of mine who, at 73, avoided even leaving the house because of the bad smell of his feet and the discomfort of walking. Within a few weeks, with a simple daily care routine, the odor disappeared. But the most beautiful thing was seeing the sparkle in his eyes when he said he could walk to the supermarket again. He regained his confidence and a part of his life that he had previously neglected. Now, let's move on to the second critical area. 2. Behind the ears, the forgotten nook of inflammation. It's curious how such a small part of the body can say so much. Behind the ears, in that subtle crease, much more than dirt accumulates. This area shows signs of neglect that, although invisible to you, are quite visible to others. The worst part is that it is one of the places most prone to bacterial proliferation. The skin in this region produces fat, sebum, sheds dead cells, and throughout the day, retains environmental contaminants. If this mixture is not removed regularly, bad odors, irritation, and skin inflammation appear. And it doesn't stop there. Research shows that chronic neglect of areas like this can trigger chain inflammatory reactions in the body. The inflammation that starts on the skin can spread and affect joints, blood vessels, and even the brain. Yes, you read that right. There is a proven relationship between chronic inflammation and the progression of diseases like arthritis, heart problems, and even cognitive deterioration. But there is an even more subtle and profound aspect. When you start to ignore certain parts of your body, even without realizing it, you send yourself a dangerous message that they no longer matter. And this type of abandonment can, little by little, affect other areas of your life. It starts with a small recess behind the ear, and without realizing it, you are giving up on taking care of yourself entirely. The solution is simple. During your shower, remember this area. Use a soft towel or sponge with a gentle soap and delicately clean behind your ears. It's a quick, almost automatic gesture, but it represents something much more important: the daily decision to continue taking complete care of yourself. Touch the area behind your ears softly, yet firmly. The skin in this region is thin and sensitive, so don't rub too hard. After cleaning, dry well with a clean towel, paying attention to that crease where moisture usually accumulates. Those extra 30 seconds, which seem trivial, can make a big difference. They prevent bacterial proliferation, eliminate bad odors, and most importantly, reinforce your commitment to complete body care. Now let's move on to Zone 3. 3. Armpits. The intersection of detoxification and social life. Armpits are much more than just a place where sweat accumulates. They are a true filtration station. There are lymph nodes there that help the body eliminate toxins from the upper body. When this area is neglected, the problem goes beyond odor. It's possible that, without realizing it, you are compromising the effectiveness of your own immune system. The armpit environment is perfect for bacterial growth. It is warm, humid, and rich in apocrine glands, which produce a type of sweat rich in proteins. This is exactly what bacteria like. They feed on these proteins and in the process release substances that cause the characteristic odor. What most people don't know is that this poor hygiene can cause mild and persistent infections that overwhelm the lymph nodes and, over time, weaken the immune system. This means you become more vulnerable to other diseases, even those that your body could easily fight otherwise. There is also the psychological factor. When people start to feel ashamed of their own odor, they tend to isolate themselves, avoid social gatherings, stop exercising, and withdraw from places and people that were once part of their routine. And this isolation is not just sad, it's dangerous. Various studies have associated social distancing with cognitive decline, depression, and a reduced life expectancy, especially among older adults. Therefore, caring for your armpits is more than hygiene. It's an integral health strategy. The technique is simple. Use an antibacterial soap and massage gently from the bottom up. This promotes lymphatic drainage, which is like an internal cleansing of the body. Dry the area well with a clean towel and consider using a natural deodorant that does not completely clog the pores, allowing your body to continue detoxifying. A tip that few people know: while showering, gently massage your armpits. This activates lymphatic circulation, improves the functioning of the immune system, and can even increase your energy levels. Furthermore, you will feel lighter, cleaner, and with much more confidence to leave the house, be with other people, and enjoy a more fulfilling life. By the way, if these tips are being useful to you, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment saying which country you are watching us from. This way, I can better understand how to help you and so many others who refuse to accept aging as an automatic path to decline. Now let's move on to zone number 4. 4. Your belly button, the small forgotten ecosystem. Perhaps you think your belly button doesn't need attention. It's there right in the center of your body, half hidden, without attracting much attention. But in reality, it's like a small world of its own. In 2014, a curious study revealed that the human belly button can host, on average, 67 different types of bacteria, in some cases more than 100. That's right, a complete micro-ecosystem that most people simply ignore. And why is this a problem? Because this area, if not cleaned regularly, becomes a refuge for harmful bacteria, fungi, and dirt buildup that can cause local infections or even spread. And let's be honest, it's very easy to forget to clean it during the shower. After all, the belly button doesn't hurt, itch, or bother you until it starts to exude a bad smell, become moist, or, even worse, become inflamed. The structure of the belly button creates a perfect environment for bacterial proliferation. It is warm, moist, and almost always protected from wind and air circulation. This small space accumulates dead skin cells, soap residue, and even clothing fibers, creating a veritable breeding ground for bacterial colonies. From a health perspective, belly button infections can be especially problematic for older adults. This is because the continuous growth of these bacteria triggers an inflammatory response from the immune system that can become systemic, that is, spread throughout the body. This inflammation can worsen pre-existing conditions, such as diabetes, arthritis, and heart disease. Furthermore, the toxins produced by these bacteria can affect energy levels and overall well-being, causing fatigue and a lack of motivation. But caring for your belly button goes beyond the physical. It has a powerful symbolic meaning. It is your first connection to life, the place where you received nourishment even before you could breathe on your own. Ignoring this part of the body can, in a way, represent a disconnection from your own life force and the energy that drives your existence. Cleaning the belly button is simple but requires attention. The ideal is to use a cotton swab moistened with warm water and mild soap to gently clean the inside of the area. Do not rub too hard, as the skin is sensitive and bruises easily. Remove any residue or buildup and dry well with a clean cotton swab, making sure no moisture remains. If you notice a strong odor or persistent discharge, do not hesitate to consult a doctor, as it may be a sign of a more serious infection. We then arrive at Zone 5. 5. The groin, the meeting point for mobility. The groin is the meeting point between the upper and lower body, where essential blood vessels, lymph nodes, and nerves for mobility circulate. Neglecting this area goes far beyond superficial hygiene problems. Lack of care can cause fungal infections, bacterial proliferation, and chronic inflammation that hinder the ability to walk comfortably and maintain balance. The groin is full of folds that trap moisture and dirt, creating an environment conducive to itching, burning, and constant discomfort, symptoms that limit freedom of movement and compromise quality of life. Recent geriatric studies show that older adults who suffer from chronic infections in this region end up reducing their physical activity. This, in turn, accelerates muscle loss, decreases bone density, and drastically increases the risk of falls. Furthermore, discomfort can alter the way you walk, causing back pain, hip problems, and general mobility difficulties. For those who prefer a more traditional view, the groin also houses important acupressure points linked to the circulation of vital energy throughout the body. Taking good care of this area not only improves blood circulation, but also elevates energy levels and well-being, both physical and emotional. Care for the groin requires special attention, as this area is delicate. Always use a gentle soap with a balanced pH so as not to alter the natural balance of the bacteria that live there. When washing, pay close attention to the skin folds as they accumulate moisture and dirt, creating the perfect environment for the proliferation of fungi. Then, it is essential to dry the area well, as any trace of moisture can turn into a problem. If you know you are prone to irritations caused by moisture, it is worth using a natural antifungal powder to keep everything under control. The cumulative effect. More than just hygiene. Why is all this so important? Because these 5 areas we've analyzed are not limited to hygiene. They are fundamental to maintaining the proper functioning of the body, circulation, strengthening natural defenses, and, of course, preserving the confidence of feeling clean, comfortable, and in control of your own body. By neglecting these areas, you not only facilitate the appearance of odors and infections, but also compromise the functioning of your body, harming the energy, vitality, and autonomy you deserve. The excess of bacteria and the inflammation they cause create a cycle of chronic inflammation that, unfortunately, accelerates aging and increases the risk of serious diseases, such as heart problems, diabetes, arthritis, and even memory loss. Maintaining good hygiene in these often forgotten areas helps your body recover and strengthen itself naturally. This can even help you live a better, longer, healthier, and more independent life. Your path to well-being doesn't have to be complicated, but it requires constant attention and care. These are basic and simple principles that health professionals sometimes assume you already know, but that in practice often go unnoticed. If these tips have given you a new perspective on health, I invite you to take the next step. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Here we focus on offering scientifically based information, especially for those who, like you, refuse to accept aging as an inevitable decline. I want to hear from you too. Leave a comment saying, "I choose global well-being," and tell me where you're watching us from. This will help me better understand how to support our global community full of people dedicated to health. And if you know someone who could benefit from this information, share this video. Sometimes, a simple gesture can be the boost someone needs to regain vitality and health. Remember, every small decision counts for your well-being. Knowledge is your best tool for maintaining your independence and quality of life. And these 5 areas we covered today are just the beginning of what you can achieve if you commit to taking care of your body and mind with love. Your health is your most precious asset, and you have much more control over it than you imagine. Start today. Start slowly, but with intention. Your future self will thank you for every bit of care you give. Now, stay safe, subscribe, and see you next time.